Yo guys, what's up? It's Brandon, and I figured that since I just got 99 Herblore, as you can tell, over bonus XP weekend, I would break them down into everything you need to know, go over some pros and cons, and then let you guys know my opinion on overloads, whether or not you should get them. So first of all, before we get into actually making them and then some of the boosts that they give you, you need 96 Herblore to make these without potting up. I'm pretty sure that you can pot up from 92, but that would take a lot more effort because you have to take the dose of the stew that you get after spending hours at Hell Rats trying to get the right spice. You put that in a stew, and then after you stew, you can make like one inventory of overloads, which is only 4 potions. Then you have to log out, log back in, and then do that all over again just so that the boost can stay up. So basically, I recommend just getting 96 Herblore. That way you can just make overloads. So before I get into anything that they do, to make an overload, you need 1 extreme strength, attack, magic, defense, and ranged. All 3 dose potions. They cannot be 4, and when you make them they will be at 3, so you don't have to do anything about that. And then you're also going to need 1 clean Torstol. They are pretty expensive to make. Right now the Torstol buys for about 31k, and to make each of these extremes costs about another 7 or 8k a piece, since you can't sell them back. So you make no money off this. It's a strict loss. And over bonus XP weekend, to give you guys a little, just kind of break it down a little more so you guys can see, get your perspective on how much it costs. Over bonus XP weekend, starting at 2.7%, I did nothing but Herblore for the whole 10 hours from level 90 to level 99. It cost me about 107 mil, and that was making extremes all the way up to 96, and then overloads 96 to 99. I made about 2,500 overloads, and yeah, lost 107 mil. So basically, once you have these extremes all set up with your Torstol, you're going to want to use the Torstol on any of these extreme potions, and it'll turn it into an overload, and it will keep it 3 dose. You can decant after. You can decant all of them noted at the guy in the GE, but I just keep mine at 3 dose. Makes the stack look a little bigger. So next is what they do. What you want to know is that they drain 500 life points every time you take a dose. But if you are over 500 life points, it will let you take a dose. But when you get under 500 life points, if you try to take a dose, it will not let you. So you'll notice that you can see my bones and all that kind of stuff. Well, right now I'm disappearing. But basically, it hits you for 500 damage, 100 at a time, and you can heal back up. But another good thing about this is the use of a Ceridome brew. So now that I'm over 500 life points, one thing that you'll notice, I'll test this out for you guys to kind of prove a point. Hold on, I'll just start recording again in 5 minutes once my overload runs out, so then I can prove something to you guys and show you guys a little bit more about overloads. So I'll be right back. Oh, quick, first of all guys, after you drink that, this is what your stats get boosted to. It's basically like taking 1 dose of every extreme just jam-packed into 1 potion. So if you're 99 attack, strength, and defense, it'll boost you up to 125. Doesn't give a huge bonus to mage, but it will boost me from 97 to 104, which is a lot better than a normal magic, and it's the same as an extreme magic. Also 122 out of 99 range, so needless to say, you do get some pretty crazy hits with overloads. I've been speccing quite high with my declaws at Bandos lately, ever since I started using overloads. So I'll start recording again in 5 minutes, which is exactly how long it takes overloads to wear out. You'll notice that your stats don't slowly decline like they do on supers. They stay at 124 and 125 the entire way. So your stats don't decrease below 124 for the entire 5 minutes. So I'll start recording again in 5 minutes, guys. Okay guys, so once your overload runs out, you're going to get a little message like this. No matter if you have your game filtered to filtered or just normally on for all, you will get this message, and it'll basically just say that your overload wears out and you feel normal again. So now for another thing that I find really good about overloads. For example, if you were to go to Bandos and you don't have overloads yet, so you bring a superset and you drink up your superset like so, and you boost your stats up to 117, 118, and then before you know it, like 2 seconds later, you're starting to get really badly hit by Bandos or any other boss that you're going to, and you have to brew up really quick. So you take 2 doses of brew, 3 doses of brew, and then restore once, your stats already back down at 99. And it's basically just nullifying that pot. Like, you never even took it. All except defense, and Cerebrew is actually like a defense potion. Brings you up to a level 120 out of 99. So other than that, it's like basically you didn't even take your attack and strength potion. It just, no matter what, goes right back down to 99. And that's kind of bad news when it comes to bossing, since a lot of times you're just going to be wasting all your potions, especially if you're the tank or something like that. But one good thing here about overloads, I'll just give you guys an example here. Let's say you overload up and it's the same scenario. You just finished potting. You don't want to waste all this stuff, but you lose so much hit points. You, like, let's say I use my unicorn or something. I get my hit points back, but then I get hit and I can't use my unicorn, and my stats are still 125. And I spam click this brew, and I don't even have to restore. But watch what happens. It drains my stats back down to 98. But then within a couple seconds, it'll boost it right back up to 125 without even having to, without having to repot. See, there we go, back up to 124 since I potted down to 98 and didn't restore back to 99. Either way, 124 even after a brew. So it just kind of, in that aspect, it's a lot of help, and it's really good in my opinion when it comes to that. So another thing I thought I'd bring up here was how good it is on bossing. Like I said, it costs 107 mil and nearly 55k a pot right now, and that's when these things are, the herbs are selling for 31k each, when usually they're over 50k a piece. So once they're selling for 31k like this, I expect that they're not going to go a whole lot lower. So if I were you guys and you had the money to buy overloads, I would recommend doing it now while they're still low. In my opinion, they're definitely worth it. And they're really good XP if you're just looking to train Herblore. They're 1000 XP per pot. You can only make 4 at a time, but if you have mouse keys working right, I can show you guys in another video how to set all that up for mouse keys. But if you have mouse keys set up properly, you can get nearly 2 mil XP an hour, and that's without bonus XP. So it's really fast XP, and not only that, it comes in a lot of handy. So for bosses like Corporal Beast, of course if you're going to solo it, you're going to want to have overloads. But if you're in, let's say, a big mass, like how I get my loot share potential, when there's like 20 people there killing it at once, and it's really fast kills, it's not really worth wasting the money on overloads. They are pretty expensive, so just using them for a 5-second kill isn't really worth it. I'd say if you're going to solo any boss, overloads are going to be a really good option for you. And even just a small team at Bandos, like duo or trio Bandos, definitely worth it in my opinion. I bring at least 6 every time I duo or trio Bandos. So it comes in a lot of handy, and I personally think they're really good for bossing in general. Now, a lot of guys like Slayer, so I am one of them. As I might have said in one of my last videos, I have 2.5k overloads right now after making 96 to 99 over bonus XP on overloads. I would not bring them to Slayer unless it's a really hard task, not hard, or it just takes a while, unless I can get a really high amount of them. Otherwise, I think it's just wasting money. Slayer doesn't make the money it used to anymore, so spending 55k to 60k on one potion that you're going to bring, I really don't think it's worth it in my opinion. But if you are going to go bossing, then it's definitely worth it. So before I end this video, guys, I just want to let you guys know, like I said, 96 Herblore to make. This is what it boosts your stats to if you have my stats. If not, it might fluctuate a little bit, but it is a really high boost. So they, in my opinion, yes, they are worth it only if you have the money, especially now that they're only 31k per herb. So a total cost for overloads, guys, after you add up the price of all extremes, is somewhere in the range of 70k. Now, the price does fluctuate as the herb does fluctuate in price as well, but it does stay relatively stable, whereas the price always will be somewhere around 60 to 70k. I'm not exactly sure of the price right now, but since it is pretty low, the herb right now, I'd say it's about it's 31k for the herb, but I would say making a total potion will still cost about 60k. So it is pretty expensive, and you want to budget how much of these you use so that you're not spending so much money using the potions and not getting anything out of it. So as you guys probably know, this is a members only potion. it cannot be sold, and you cannot note them. So for example, when I got hacked, I had 5,000 recover specials, which are treated the same as overloads because they're in that new category of potions where they're untradeable. So good news is, if you do get hacked and you have a large stack of overloads, no hacker in the right mind would waste their time trying to drop them one at a time for like thousands of them. So that kind of does come in handy, and you're never going to need more than, I'd say, 5 or 6 at a time, especially even if you're going bossing. Especially for Slayer, you should only need 3, maybe 4, but that does get pretty expensive. So my only real advice to you guys about using overloads is use them where you know you can make money. If you take them to something like a free-to-play monster like cockroaches or just some low-level Slayer monster, you're not going to make money off that, and it's really not worth wasting 60k on a potion when you can just be using supers. If you don't think that you can be making money off it, for example, like I said, the low-level Slayer monsters, don't even bother, just use supersets. They still boost you up to 118 and go down to 117 pretty quickly, but still 118 117 attack, strength, and defense, and for literally fractions of the price. Overloads, like I said, over 60k. Supers are barely 1k. So I recommend that if you don't have a lot of money and you can't afford to make overloads in a very large quantity, then I would only use them at bosses. But on that note, I do recommend getting them. They are really, really good for basically anything if you have the money and if you have the good stack of potions. And I think that they are probably one of the best things. If you combine it with Turmoil, you're going to be hitting like crazy on bosses. And I highly, highly recommend, if you have the money, now is a good time to buy them, since the Torstal Seeds and the Torstal Herbs are pretty low right now. So like I said, Torstal Herbs are 31k. They're usually over 50k. So if you have the money, now is a great time to buy these things. So all in all, overloads are really good in my opinion. I love them, and I will continue to use them. Whether I use them on Slayer or on bosses, I'm not sure, but I will keep using them on every boss I go to, unless it's a huge corp mass. Definitely worth my time to bring to the bosses. So that's about it for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed and learned something, then please thumbs up the video. There will be more in the future, but one last thing to note, you can drink an overload right before you enter a dungeon in Daemonheim, and it will last for a full 5 minutes, and then it'll wear off. It's kind of used as a timer to see how much you can get done in the 5 minutes at the start of the dungeon, but I don't recommend doing that at all unless you have, again, a high stack. So like I said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, then please comment, rate, subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up the video if it helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys later.